need another monitor. Never mind.
You're not gonna hang?
I'm not gonna hang, dude.
Come in just for a second though.
Alright.
In the middle.
Yeah, I'll just walk out of it. I was like, I need another monitor, I can't do this.
Like, what's her name? Kathy?
Yeah.
Oh, Casey?
Yo, so on our site, people are clicking like random, like they think buttons, like, you know,
Alright.
like a video, they're just clicking random things. So I'm just gonna make videos, like when they click it, it's just gonna show up with videos now.
There you go.
Just random fucking shit.
That's hype. I gotta put that thing on my thing.
Hey, do you guys know of any startups that would want to demo at OTAB this month?
Are we?
Dude,
Yeah.
Palm,
You do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Marianne,
Marianne?
yeah, she has a company called POMM.
Okay.
Just
I'm
one on
doing their
Indiegogo.
Indiegogo right now, so I know she's definitely trying to like be
What
out
does she,
there.
what does she do?
She has like this smartwatch for kids and monitors their health, and so like if their kids at like daycare and stuff, the mom can get alerts if like the kids like vitals are dropping and stuff like that.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
or if
it's
you
pretty
leave the
dope.
kid in the car, like it measures like temperature, heartbeat,
Is it a
yeah,
sock?
temperature and heartbeat.
No, it's a like
and
a
then like
watch.
two other like small
Yeah, it's like a
ones.
bracelet.
She's actually gonna be on the show the day of OTAB.
Yeah,
So
that'd be cool.
she just went on Indiegogo for crowdfunding.
Yeah, check her
Huh.
out. POMM is the name of the thing on Indiegogo. You can
Okay.
see her like whole thing.
Well, that's a gateway to tracking your kids.
That's one person. I mean, I
Or
have
like, for me, my first thought was, my partner owns handicapped, and I worry about her falling and like hurting herself all the time.
yeah,
So if I had something like that, fucking.
What about that green bike
yeah,
people?
awesome, man.
What are those green bike people? Like Soul something?
Oh
They do
yeah,
Soul-
Soil.
Soil, they moved to
They're in
Cali.
California now.
What?
Yeah, they moved to California.
They got it easy out there?
I guess they're an accelerator.
Oh, nice, good for them.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess they're.
No,
That was recently. That was like a month ago.
Damn.
All right, Patrick. You gonna be on the show?
Yeah, I'm
All right, come on over, man. How we looking, Kyle?
yeah, no, I was just like making sure everything was good as the post and everything.
Kyle's my trusty.
Your audio is good. Yeah, cool.
Are you sure?
We're good?
I'll dip right after you stay out there. There you go.
I'm gonna look at this wire.
Fair enough, man.
Are you guys ready?
All right, what time is it?
59.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna pull up your thing. Or what do I search on Facebook?
BootStraps.live.
Okay.
Or
Share,
yeah.
share.
Yeah.
Share some posts.
Please, please, please.
Is
All
it
right,
all one
Kyle, give
word?
us the countdown so we know when we're live.
Is it all one word, bootstraps? Or is bootstraps two word?
Bootstraps is one word, and then live is another word.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, 3, 2, 1.
All right, welcome back to Bootstraps Live. It's episode 4. We took a week off. Yeah, that's number 4.
Nice.
Yeah, we took a
Fourth,
week.
fifth week.
Yeah, so we are in a really cool place right now. As you guys can see, this office has amazing views of Lake Eola in downtown Orlando. And then we also have a huge drone sitting here in the room with us.
Man, look how
occupying
big this
space.
thing is.
Yeah, I mean, you could probably sit on it.
You can maybe ride it.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But again,
Probably not.
Bootstraps is a show that's dedicated to entrepreneurs, it's dedicated to startups, helping them launch their business, helping you guys learn from founders' experiences and mistakes, and we really want to get down to the nuts and bolts of it and make sure that we don't leave any leaf unturned. Or what's this?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Nailed it.
Uncovered, right? So we have Gordon here today with us. Gordon, folks, he's one of our good friends. Goes all the way back to the days of OTAB.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty much where we met. And
Yeah.
kind of with these guys, you see, we've got 2 of our other friends here, Alfred and David. Say hey, guys.
Hey.
And they're also, heavily involved in the Tech and Beer event that we tell you guys about almost every week now. But I'm wearing my shirt again today just in honor of,
OTAB.
what that does for everybody. I mean, that's how we all got connected. That's how so many other startups get connected. We talk about networking on the show. We talk about leveraging, relationships and things like that. And that's just one of the ways that Orlando has been able to facilitate such things. And we're just a product of that, And you guys, yourselves, like Gordon and Alfred, have taken on new roles with OTAB.
Community leaders, right?
Yeah.
I still call it OTAB, but it's
OTAB.
Yeah,
going to be Tech and Beer
OTAB.
now. So maybe you guys can talk about the expansion, or at least you can, and then what's going to become of it with you guys?
Yeah, so I mean, it's still OTAB here because it's Orlando Tech and Beer here in Orlando, and then we've just had the community here has been so awesome. Everyone, it's just a cool event. I thoroughly enjoy. I look forward going to the events.
Yeah, me too.
They're fun. And I love seeing the community and meeting people and making new friends and being connected into this whole tech startup scene. So because of that, we've had a lot of interest from other cities outside of Orlando who have asked us like, hey, how did you guys do this? Like, we want something like this in our city. So because of that, we're helping move Tech and Beers to other cities. So we're looking at, I think we're launching this month. We're doing Atlanta, Charlotte, Santa Monica, DC, maybe Arlington, Virginia. I can't remember. And then we'll have Arlington, and then Orlando too. So,
Awesome.
but it's amazing because I think it's so cool because Orlando just totally like gets shafted when it comes to being recognized as like a startup area or like a tech hub, and it's so cool that like this thing has blossomed and grown out of Orlando. It's just straight up diamond in the rough, like, and it's been so awesome, and it's literally because the community here has been so cool. That's it. I mean, we put in work setting the thing up, but without people wanting, like, latching onto it and getting involved in doing it, it would be nothing. So it's the community that makes it what it is. So just shout out to Orlando in general for being a diamond in the rough and having something like that. But yeah, so again, sorry, I'm gonna rant one more time. But yeah, me and Alfred just are stepping into kind of like community leadership roles with Orlando Tech and Beer. So I guess I kind of want to use it as like a way to ensure that the event itself like continues to provide benefit to the community and be what the community wants and for the community. So I want to be a liaison between the community and then like putting on the event and just kind of making sure that it stays community focused, exactly what the community wants, like and what our community needs to help grow and prosper. So
And I think it is such a cool vessel, for that.
Yeah,
I love
heck yeah.
that. Like it's
Beer's
so
tight.
yeah, it's so positioned. Yeah.
Mhm.
And it's funny because we went to Gringos today.
Yeah,
And,
we
like, we had lunch at Gringos, and they're like the contributing sponsor for the event, and it's still one of our
They
favorite
provide
restaurants, like in
the
Orlando.
good tacos
Mhm.
every time.
Yeah.
That's probably why some of us look forward to it too.
I know, it's great. I mean, that's another thing. I say it's our community, but our sponsors have been huge too.
Yeah.
Everyone involved with the event just really helps making it what it is, and it's been a really cool thing.
So, as is tradition, guys, we're gonna start off the show with our
Alright.
start off this BS with a toast.
Okay, so
And the official unofficial sponsor.
official
Red
unofficial
Bull.
sponsor of
Red
startups
Bull.
around the world.
And this was your choice today?
Yeah, Red Bull. I'm
Powered by Red Bull.
Yeah,
Archer's powered by Red Bull.
I don't know if I can say that.
there's some irony in the fact that we help prevent cardiac arrest, fatalities, but I drink a lot of Red Bull and I kind of.
And there's something with the
Seemed
wings,
fitting.
right? Maybe because it gives you wings.
Oh, there we
you
go.
fly.
That
Yeah.
plays into it
But
too.
you
You gotta
like
get
Red
stuff
Bull.
done to save
Yeah.
them.
It's my go-to.
Yep.
So.
Well, cheers,
Alright,
guys. Let's
cheers.
shake it off.
Boys, yep.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Alright, it's no BS.
Mm-hmm.
And I got
Let's try
lime,
it.
sugar-free. Just wanted to try something different today.
Spencer's being different. Oddball, the group.
It's the only way to get noticed.
So Gordon Folks, so you're the founder. Let's talk about when did you start and why did you start it?
So
Sorry.
you know.
Let's let the audience kind of know more about what it is first.
Archer?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna
Yeah.
go into
Okay.
this,
Sorry.
yeah. So why did you start it, and then go over where Archer came about the idea, and then go into what is Archer.
Sure.
Perfect, yeah.
Yeah. So the LLC was first formed in, I believe, either December of 2013 or January of 2014, but right in that realm. And I started building and flying multi-rotors because a really good friend of mine, brilliant guy, was flying a drone around around the lake, on Lake Maitland actually, and it was like the coolest thing I'd ever seen. And this was before the DJI Phantom 1. This was before there was any kind of consumer-ready drone. There was no. Drones weren't a thing. So that's why I was like mind blown.
Was it like one of those where you just like pull it like a lawnmower?
Yeah, it was gas powered. It was brutal. No, it wasn't. But it was cool because growing up, I always I loved remote control cars and stuff. So immediately like the drone thing resonated with me because it was a remote control thing. But also they're like terrifying, and the ones that you build are loud and scary, and like you hoping it flies well. But you know, that was just kind of how I dove into the unmanned air system realm. And that buddy of mine who I mentioned, his name's Al. He now actually he's one of our advisors on the company now, Alessandro. But he kind of guided me through and taught me everything that I know about multi-rotors. And it was really cool because I started like from the ground up. We were buying, you know, random brushless motors from Sunny Sky, and we were buying flight controllers from a robotics company in California. And we were, you know, and you put all these, you know, materials together and all these components together, and yeah, it was just really cool, learning about multi-rotors, not from like the consumer side of like buying something off the shelf and just learning how to fly it, but really like building them and understanding, like, oh, they're fixed pitch props, so to adjust thrust you change RPM, and so to like roll left you change RPM on the right motors and on the left motor, except just kind of understanding like the core of what a multi-rotor is.
So you've always been a tinkerer.
Kind of. I
like
honestly
to figure it out.
Yeah, figure it out. It's like even on our OTAB Slack, that's my username, figure it out, because that's
cool.
just kind of like a
Figure it out.
Yeah, it's like my
Oh,
mentality
awesome.
on things. You just kind of figure it out.
Now, where did wakeboarding come into play in this whole thing? Because I know we talked about it a
So
little bit.
I was wakeboarding on Lake Maitland, and I saw a boat. You know, someone riding behind a boat, and they did a trick that like you don't do unless you know wakeboarding. So someone like they did a tangent to blind, and I was like, all right, no one does a tangent to blind unless they like know. You do like a railie, you know, if you don't really know wakeboarding, you do like railies or back rolls. But tangent to blind is something that. So I went up to this boat after they stopped riding, and I was like, hey man, like I'm Gordon, like, because the wakeboarding community is kind of like tight. You know, you find people who wakeboard, and
Yeah.
there's not a lot, so it's
Especially
cool.
around here, it seems like, yeah.
Yeah, like you can go to a basketball court and find people playing basketball, but it's kind of like hard to find people who are like really into wakeboarding. So when you find someone, you're like, oh, cool, like someone else. So I went and like just introduced myself to him and was like, yeah, what's up? You know, I'm Gordon. You want to like ride or do something, whatever. And that ended up being my friend Al, who taught me everything about drones. So like it was like through this like happen chance, like very serendipitous. It was like this happen chance that like I saw a guy wakeboarding, just introduced myself, and then like got introduced to multi-rotors through him and taught and built, and then just kind of from there everything blossomed. So had I not like made that initial interaction, like this was like 6 years ago, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing right now.
Have you always been the type of person that kind of puts yourself out there and introduces yourself, or was that like a leap for you?
Yeah, I'm always like all my friends like hate hang out with me because I'm like talking to everybody.
Right,
and
okay.
I start being like annoying, and everyone's like.
But it's important, right? Especially now, like when
Yeah.
you're trying to like sell your business and sell the concept and things like that. It's very important to put yourself out there, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, and I like thoroughly enjoy talking to people. Like I think that like we're on this earth and there's other living people walking around that all have crazy intricate stories, and it's like it's just all unread books all around you. It's just interesting to like tap into someone for 30 seconds, a minute, just hear
I
who
like
they
that
are.
analogy.
It's just cool. I don't know.
Tapping into someone. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Power networking.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Connecting.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And learning other people.
who's your favorite wakeboarder? I forgot to start with that.
Oh,
yeah.
favorite
Yeah, we're
wakeboarder.
talking about wakeboarding, so yeah, let's go off of that.
Yeah. Throwback to Ben Greenwood was always my favorite wakeboarder. You guys probably don't know him. He's like an older guy. He made I think the Liquid Force Witness, which was like my favorite wakeboard, is the board that I always rode. I think that was his design maybe. But he was just a really cool. He just always had he always grabbed things and like always took his time with grabs and just like had a really cool style of wakeboarding. I just always really liked Ben Greenwood.
Nice.
But,
So
yeah.
he doesn't ride anymore, does he?
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure for fun maybe, but like he doesn't like ride the Pro Tour or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to have like a double flip or else you can't like ride the Pro Tour. So, but yeah, so.
That's cool, man. So he had that like daringness about him. He was holding the grabs a little bit longer, like
Just good
you kind
style.
of resonated with that. Yeah,
Just good
that's
style. Guy had good style.
And then that flowed into learning about multi-rotor drones and then creating Archer. So you kind of connected the dots and
Well, it was
saw that?
so when you build, when you start building from scratch and you start working with these flight controllers, it was really cool. There's like this big open source community all around this one flight controller called the Pixhawk, and it's made by a company called 3D Robotics, and I think they're in California, definitely in California. And there's this like huge like or it's like an Arduino Pilot, I think, and then like drone code, and it's like this big open source community around that flight controller. And somebody, I can't remember. I'm trying to think of the name of the person, but somebody built this thing called Mission Planner, or it was like APM Flight Planner, and it was like this open sourced, like kind of like heads up dashboard, I guess, for the multirotor. So like you would like plug in the flight controller into your computer and then open up APM Mission Planner, and then that's where you could change like all the parameters, all the settings, like all like the fine-tuned adjustments of like how the flight controller handles different changes in motion, how sensitive your throttle is, like how far up in your throttle you want your hover point to be, like just everything like that. And then but there's also this really cool side of that where you could like pull up basically like what was basically Google Earth or like Google Maps, and you could like drop waypoints on this program and then set commands, like so you'd set like a waypoint and an altitude at that waypoint. So instead of it being like, you know, it's a 3-dimensional waypoint, so you'll be like at this coordinate at 40 feet above ground level, AGL, and then you can set commands like at each one of these waypoints, like loiter here, which would be like just hover there for X seconds, or circle this point and it'll circle it, or take picture. And then so basically you can make these mission files, so it's like waypoint here, 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 and here maybe, and then once you build that mission file, you just save it and then upload it to the flight controller, and it's just saved and sitting on the flight controller. And then once you're flying, you can toggle your like flight mode from like stabilized, which is like the normal like non-GPS, just like flat flight mode, into like auto mode, and when you flip it into auto, it just starts running that mission. And so then it would just like pop up, and like in seeing that, you realize like, okay, let's make a mission to go from here to 50 feet down the road and then back. Okay, now let's make one that's from here to 55 feet down the road and back, and 60 feet down the road, and 65 feet down the road, and so on. And then if you imagine having thousands and thousands of these mission files that take the multirotor from one point to like 1,000 different points in an area, then at any given time you can just be like, oh, upload mission 76 to this multirotor and click run, and it'll just run out to that point.
Right.
And so that's like kind of the core, when you start to realize that, that's the core of what Archer is. And so like our business methods patent, our provisional patent right now, is around that concept. It's like that deployment method. And so when we install Archer systems in a community, we go through the community, we collect thousands of drop coordinates that are unobstructed and safe to drop to, and then we write mission files that take it from the home point where we have the ground control hub installed to take off and then fly, go to that point, drop the defibrillator, come back, and then land. And then
just so you said, drop a defibrillator.
yes,
Yeah. So that's the premise of the business model, is to be able to help people using drones.
Okay, so yes.
And now that we're at that point, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So like I said, at that waypoint, remember you can set a command.
Mm-hmm.
So the command can be whatever.
Drop payload.
Yeah, it can be drop payload. It could be start recording.
Sure.
It can be start recording and circle around this thing. And so what Archer is, at the core of it, is a drone deployment platform, a drone deployment system made up of ground control hub housing units on vehicle computers that connect these vehicles to the internet, so we can actually move those mission files I was talking about from our saved database to the actual vehicle and upload it. And then it's made up of that database of all these flight missions. And then you can deploy these to do anything. So right now, like in my mind, the most noble use for unmanned air systems is time-sensitive emergencies like cardiac arrest. So the task that these drones are programmed to do with Archer First Response System is to take off, fly to waypoint, decrease altitude, drop payload, and return home. The payload the drone doesn't know the drone doesn't care what's in the payload. The drone doesn't know anything about the payload, but we know that it's an AED, Narcan, and tourniquet. So, and that's just,
Wow, that's so cool how you went from this is so cool to me, the journey.
Yeah,
and I'm just curious,
connecting the dots.
Yeah.
And finding the opportunity and putting 2 and 2, and actually it was 5 and 10 together.
Yeah.
So what made you want to focus on cardiac arrest?
It's a time sensitive emergency, and it's one that multi-rotors can serve as a really great solution for. It just, these things fit so well into that problem.
Sure.
And is, you know, in exploring like ways that these vehicles can be deployed to help things or help situations, I was trying to do research on emergencies that were time sensitive. And after, like, you know, I've been working on this for 5 years, so I know a lot about statistics around cardiac arrest because that's our main focus. But after realizing 320,000 people each year die from non-traumatic, out of hospital, EMS assessed cardiac arrest.
Wow.
So that's literally just like somebody like you or me right now just going into cardiac arrest. It just randomly happens to anybody, anytime.
That's
It's
crazy.
like nearly 1,000 a day.
It breaks down to about one death every 1.6 seconds.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry, 1.6 minutes.
That's still
Which
crazy.
is still,
yeah,
like,
yeah,
it's
that's
still
a
a
lot.
ton.
Yeah.
It's one, basically, like, if you look at 330 million people in the United States, about 320,000, it's 320,000 plus, or, you know, there's probably more, but about 320,000 deaths. You divide that out, it's about 1 in 1,000 people will die from cardiac arrest every year.
Wow.
So then if you start thinking about a master plan community where there's 3,000 homes, maybe 2 residents per home, that's 6,000 people right there, like, odds are you're going to have at least 1 fatality every year from cardiac arrest in that community. And 70% of cardiac arrest happens in the home.
Wow.
So, like, odds are if any of those 6,000 people have cardiac arrest, it's likely it's going to happen in their home. So, so that's kind of why we've been focusing on that. It's a noble use case for unmanned air systems, and I've been really passionate about the positive integration. I get people that email me sometimes, and they'll be like, have you ever thought about, like, for, like, defense and, like, arming them? And I'm like, dude, like, it's just...
There's enough wrong with the world.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
let's do good with
Yeah.
it. Like, I don't want to kill people with them. Let's do the opposite.
So
Like,
that's where I'm curious. Is like when you were setting out, like you found that was like a SDK basically, software development kit with the flight programmer and stuff. Like did you set out to start a business, or
No.
were you just like looking for ways that you could help people individually? Like, and you kind of stumbled into like there's an opportunity here to use it for that. Like, I'm just curious about that whole like
It was
business
like-
process like that you came up with. Like,
it was like seeing that pre-programmed mission file
Right.
and like writing one of the missions and just flipping on the transmitter, the auto.
this is awesome.
And this is, like, mind you, this is 6 years ago before there's even a Phantom. So, like, I'm holding this remote, I flip a switch, and I'm just like, and this thing just goes, and just rip. Like, you can set the speed, like, and they just rip off into these points exactly where you tell them to, come back and land, and you're just like,
That's
like,
awesome.
what? I just
Just
built
that.
that? Like,
Yeah.
and it just did that? It's crazy.
Yeah.
And when I was like, this can be used, like, this needs to be used for something.
Sure.
Like, it has, like,
You're
it
just
has
like
to.
passion.
Yeah,
Like,
it was like
that's me, yeah.
it's amazing technology, it's athletic machinery, and it's programmable. And then you compile all that and you tie it to connecting it to you connect all that to the internet,
Yeah.
and then you look at the proliferation of smartphones and LTE cell networks.
Yeah.
Everyone has a smartphone and there's basically LTE everywhere.
Yeah.
It's just like
So you were just like, this is what I want to do.
Yeah, I was like, no, this is
Yeah.
this is what I'm
This is what I'm doing.
This is what I'm
yeah.
going to
And
do.
then you kind
Yeah.
of tried to figure it out from there.
Yeah, so
So to
it was
speak,
it was
yeah.
awesome because I was at Florida State at the time. I was a
Okay.
sophomore, and I was like, starting a business. Like, what are the steps there? I was like, I need some capital.
So were you
Um,
interested? Sorry to interrupt. Were you interested in entrepreneurship at all?
Yeah, actually,
Okay.
so
Alright.
my dad ran a pest control company
Okay.
like 30 years ago. It was called Archer Exterminators.
Okay.
And then, growing up, I was always like the kid running around the office, My dad actually gave my sister and I a soda machine for like one of our birthdays or Christmas or something. And that was me and my sister's first business. So me and my sister would stock the soda machine, and they kept it in their office. So like the employees would buy, 25-cent sodas. And me and my sister would go to the store and stock it. And it was like we were able to learn early on, like, okay, if I'm buying sodas at Costco and they cost me 10 cents a piece at Costco and I'm selling them 50 cents a piece here,
Yeah.
you can, there's a profit margin, and then you have to stay on top of keeping it stocked, and you see what sells and what doesn't, and so we had like 2 columns of Coca-Cola and 1 column of Mountain Dew because Coca-Cola, so
So you were like, I can do this because I I've had this tools instilled in me, and I'm in school for business, right?
No, I wasn't in
FSU?
school for business. Growing up, I was like, I'm just gonna take over the family business. It's gonna be awesome. And then my dad sold the company, and I was like, all right, guess I have to figure something out now. No, that's not actually my mentality. But so that was kind of why I adopted the name Archer too. It's my way of kind of taking on the family business without taking on the family
That's
business.
awesome. I'm glad I got that out.
Yeah. So Archer first, or it was Archer Exterminators killing bugs, and now it's Archer First Response System saving lives.
That's awesome.
But
So you're at FSU. You're
Yeah.
not studying business.
not studying business.
Okay.
No.
Or you studying? If you don't want to share, it's okay.
No, I'm totally. I initially, I was studying psychology because I was just interested in it. I didn't really think I was going to be a psychiatrist or really in the field of psychology. It was just something I really liked. And then I studied economics as well. So my degree is in economics, and I minored in psychology. And then
You're a sophomore,
I was a sophomore at the time.
so you're partying.
It
really.
was Florida State. We had the best football team. We had Dalvin Cook. We had Jameis Winston. It was we won national championship. I think we lost 2 home games my entire 4 years of college. It was crazy.
That's awesome.
Florida State was awesome. Florida State was so cool. And all universities have resources that no one takes advantage of. So I was I need capital. So I did some research to find if there was any incubation, any kind of startup thing at the university, or if there's any way I could get a grant from the school. And there's this thing I found called the Geneva Grant for Technological Innovation. And I was like, that's perfect. I think it was $5,000, and it would be perfect to start with that. And you could only get that if you were a resident of Florida State's small business incubator, called the Innovation Center. So I was like, okay, gotta join that.
Innovation.
Yeah, Innovation Center. There it is. Yeah, it's so I type it and it's always red underlined. It's you misspelled it. I'm I know. So yeah, so I was I have to join the Innovation Center. So I joined. I applied to be a resident. I got approved. Right when I got approved, I immediately applied for that Geneva grant. Went through the process, got approved, and was awarded that grant.
And so you wanted to do what at that point? Or was this always the vision?
It was. I mean, it was always drone deployment.
Sure.
Drone deployment. Initially, the very first LLC I formed was actually called Sky Caddy LLC.
Okay.
Same exact architecture, deployment, everything. We were gonna try and food on golf courses to people.
Okay.
So
that would have been sweet too.
Yeah, so you could order a beer on hole 7, and they'll just drop it to you on hole 7. And then we were like, oh, we can put an AED on that too. And then it was right. That's better. Let's focus on that.
I got you.
So then we immediately changed we changed our Archer First Response System right away, and then that's just been the focus for the past 5 years. But yeah, so the grant was awesome. Getting that, I was able to build some prototypes, get some videos done. Do proof of concept videos, things like that. And then also there was a law clinic at Florida State, because Florida State has an awesome law school as well. So there was a law clinic run by a guy named Richard Benham. Really, really awesome. Very, very helpful. He was a guy that I could just approach and be like, what do you think about this? What is that? And he would always give me great advice. And then the law clinic was basically law students that would hop in and help businesses in the Startup Innovation Center and stuff like that. So
For free.
Yeah, for free. So it was tapping into all the resources at FSU to really kind of get the ball rolling. It was support from the Innovation Center, which basically you get access to the entire university. You need to talk to this guy, they arrange that. So there's no one that is untouchable once you're in the Innovation Center. The grant was huge. The law clinic was right there. It's just it's all right there for anybody to use. There's no one really takes advantage of it.
And for our listeners, it doesn't just have to be universities. You don't have to be a part of a university. There's other ways to leverage resources in your community. And I know you're probably still doing a lot of those things now, even outside of university. After graduating, would you say that that's still part of your journey? Is trying to tap into different resources, including maybe funding? That's something that people don't think of that as tapping into a resource, but capital is definitely, and you mentioned the grant, but there's a lot of ways to get funding, and that's one of them.
Mm-hmm.
But even now, you might be going after industrial type funding. So just wanted to make sure that was clear to our listeners. You don't have to go the university route if you're not a student. there's a ton of other ways, and like we've done the same thing, like use different resources. We talk about Startup Studio, we talk about accelerators, so just keep that in mind.
Yeah,
But,
definitely. I mean,
yeah.
it's just the core of it is just like being
Resourceful.
diligent. Yeah, being diligent and with your resourcefulness, like going, like seeking,
Yeah.
seek and ye shall find, or whatever the saying. It's like,
Oh yeah.
and so yeah, and there's a ton of resources all over the place. I just like in my story, like the initial bit of it was from at Florida State while I was there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
and-
was your surroundings, and you capitalized on it. You said
Yeah.
what's available to me, like, and you sought it out. you
Yeah,
know?
exactly.
And I think that's the best way to put it. If you seek, you're gonna eventually find something. Like, but if you're not looking, no one's gonna come knocking on your door
Yeah.
and say, "Hey, here's money.
Yeah.
Hey, here's a business idea. Hey, here's a partner, or like, hey, here's a anything." Like, it's never gonna happen. So you definitely have to be like seeking things.
Mhm.
Like that's
Yeah.
the perfect way to put it.
Well, a key to startup success is being resourcefulness.
Mm-hmm.
Number one key. So like you started thinking, what can I use as my resources? And you just start going around campus, like what's around you, and that's huge anywhere starting.
Exactly, and even so, there's this really awesome organization called Who We Play For. My friend Evan Ernst, I met him at Florida State. I think he helped founded the organization while he was at Florida State. And what they do is they go around to high schools and college campuses and businesses and sports teams, and they do like heart screenings, but they do them for like $5, like so cheap. So they go in, they do EKG or ECG, electrocardiograph, screenings on people to try and find heart problems. So basically like preventative. So we're like reactive from cardiac arrest, but they're on the preventative,
Sure.
like proactive side of it.
Okay.
But yeah, even that, like I was like, what student organizations are around or centered around cardiac health? And I found Evan, and me and him became friends. And even if you look in our very first proof of concept video, the AED that we used in that video was one that Who We Play For, his organization, lent me to film that.
That's so cool.
So it's just like little things like that. Like AED is like $1,200, and like I didn't have $1,200 to spend, but I tapped into a community resource, a group, a friend. Got what I needed, and wrote them a letter thanking them for their support and help, like for giving us that or letting us use it for the video. And then now me and Evan we still stay in touch all the time, and I'm hoping to help facilitate a lot of some of their mission and with Archers as well too.
So what was the username that you have again for OTAB Slack?
Figure it out.
Figure it out. So
Yeah.
there's something
Figure it
to
out.
be said about that, because with resourcefulness, there's an underlying sense of creativity. Like you can find all these things that are available to you, but then coming up with a solution that works for both sides.
Yeah.
That's always another thing to think about. It's like, okay, I know I want what they have, but what do I have that they want?
Yeah.
Right? And maybe it's a letter, maybe it's a tax write-off, maybe it's, the credibility. Like there's a million different ways to make things like that happen. So you have to be very creative.
Yeah,
And I
definitely.
think that's what entrepreneurs love, is coming up with creative solutions to problems.
Scrappy.
Yeah.
Scrappy.
Scrappiness.
Scrappiness.
I always
Never
thought
heard
of
that
that.
one yet.
People are like,
Beside
why you? I'm like, I'm scrappy.
Yeah,
I'm like,
scrappy.
I'm super scrappy.
You scrap or not?
we just scrap it out.
Scrap it up.
We should have called the show Scrap.
The day of the scrap or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. What has been Archer's most biggest milestones?
Yeah.
There's been a lot.
Any bigger like recent ones maybe?
Well, I mean, so we got our first, we manufactured our first ground control hub, and that was last year in May.
It's like the size of this couch, right?
It's massive.
Right.
Yeah, the thing is, like, I can't curse. It's effing massive. It's 6 feet. It's a circle with a diameter of 6 feet, so it's 6 feet tall, 6 feet wide. Then it's 4.5 feet like deep, or like wide, I guess.
Yeah.
And then we bury it 3 feet in the ground, so only the top 3 feet is exposed.
Okay.
But when it opens, it like rolls into the ground, so it's like this it's just this bad
Sexy.
ass thing. I don't know if
Yeah.
that's a curse word, but
Yeah.
So getting that manufactured was a big you guys. Big milestone, because it was just like we've been working on this design in CAD, and me and Cade Ailey, who was one of the first guys who ever really started digging in and helped me with Archers. Awesome dude. Shout out to Cade. Like, respect, bro. Miss you. He's in Tallahassee.
Oh, okay.
Love the kid. it's like we're bouncing back and forth on this ground control hub, and then finally to see it go from CAD to like massive physical
That's awesome.
thing. So getting that developed was cool. Or
Realizing.
Oh yeah, there's a video on your website, right?
yeah, you can see the
Yeah.
see the ground control hubs. One of them installed and it opens and the drone flies out of it in one of our videos. It's pretty
The link
cool.
is.
Ooh, you can,
Anyone
our
wants to watch the
website.
video of it in action.
Yeah, it's archerfrs.com or archerfirst.com. They have both. They both
Cool.
go to Archer First. But
Awesome. Check it out.
yeah, check it out.
It's a real cool video,
And we
and it
link-
explains it so, or you can visualize it so well.
Yeah, you can see it super well.
And we linked your Facebook too, so if you
Okay.
get that, you just click the link in the description, guys. And I'll just take a second. Please share this post with friends. So go ahead, guys. Post it on your page. Post it on your groups. Send it in a text message to your friends.
I'm gonna go ahead and share
As
it.
well as any
Yeah, sure.
questions. If
I'm
you
gonna
guys
share
have
it
any
right now.
questions right now or afterwards, you have a question for Gordon, we could reach out to him afterwards. As well as some feedback if you guys want to learn any cool stuff.
Yeah, Kyle. Any questions at this point on the live stream?
No, just some guy likes Diet Coke.
Okay. Awesome.
Cool.
Some guy likes Diet Coke.
Well, thanks for letting us know. Maybe we'll see if we can have Diet Coke on the next episode.
Boom. There we go.
Diet Coke.
All right.
All right.
Yeah. Well, like we said, we're gonna try to keep the live stream component going on. So if you do have any questions, go ahead and chime in. We'll try to check in at the end of the episode again and see if we have time to answer any of those. And I guess we'll just keep going. That's
Cool.
And shout out to Kyle over there. He's our man behind
Kyle,
the
the
scenes.
developer.
Yep, he's helping us with our platform.
Wave
as
your
well.
hands like a crazy person.
He made the BootStraps.LIVE website, so www.BootStraps.LIVE. That's where we also house all of our videos. We have a blog that we're starting where we kind of touch base with some of the old episodes, some of the old companies, see how they're doing a few weeks. So we'll do one with Gordon in about a month and a half, see what they're up to. We'll post all that content there on the website. And then you can be a part of the community there as well.
As well as if you are interested in being on the show, you can reach out to us on the contact form.
Yep, absolutely. And if you have feedback, it's a great place to kind of send us an email there as well. We'd appreciate that. So, what are some of your goals? And if you have any advice on goal setting, or
Yeah.
how do you go about?
Well, so I'm gonna go back just to like milestones really quick.
Oh, sure. Sorry. Yeah.
So there's we'll feed into that kind of too. So there's like
Perfect.
the ground control hub manufacturing, which is awesome. Then right after that, we did our first like kind of quote unquote soft launch. So we did a demonstration in a master plan community for audience of like 40 people. They were all community managers, and we got like 4 Rivers catered. It was this cool event.
That's awesome.
Flew. We got our first really good like PR coverage from that. We did I think we did like 3 or 4 different news station interview type things. We were in Jacksonville Magazine. We were in Orlando Business Journal. I think Jacksonville Business Journal maybe, and a few different newspapers as well. Those were all really cool milestones. It was like the first time Archer had ever really been like published by anybody.
You just had one this week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and then from there, another big milestone was we got accepted into Google Cloud Platform's startup
nice.
program.
Yeah.
So GCP allocated $20,000 of GCP credit to us, and so shout out to Spencer.
Not this one.
Not different Spencer. My Spencer. He's been able to put everything running on GCP, which is really really cool. So I mean, it's a drone deployment platform running on Google. It's just like it's cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So that was a cool milestone. And then we've done demos. We've done a demo in Lennar community down in Champions Gate. It's just down South Florida. It's South Orlando. And we did another news interview last week, I believe. We did a segment with Channel 6 with Kirsten O'Connor. She did a really great job like covering and explaining what we're doing. And then we have we're actually doing a demo tomorrow at Orlando Country Club with Orlando Health Heart Institute. We'll actually be doing CPR and AED education for the staff at Orlando Country Club, and then we'll be running drills, and one of the drills will be with our system bringing the AED from the drone, which is pretty cool.
That's awesome.
And then we also, we're raising funds right now. We have some of our first. We had like a friends and family round, and some getting initial funding in there was a huge milestone for us on top of the grant. And then we've had a few seed investors as well now, which is a huge milestone for us too. So we're still fundraising and everything, so you said goals was the.
Well, yeah. So you've had success raising money. at this point, and now you're going into another round, and so that would be a big goal for you guys, I'm sure, is to like get to that next stage. So
Yeah.
maybe you can give some advice on funding in the early stages, and then maybe like what you're doing now, and just kind of talk about that process and how it's going.
Yeah, so ours is like unique because it's all like it's like MVPs are so important, minimal viable products. Like you have to be able to show it's not just an idea, it's like a thing. It was an idea, it's a great idea, we've built it, here it is. But for ours, it's like a life or death situation. So we can't put an MVP, like I can't sell an MVP. I can't get like initial revenue from somebody with an MVP because someone could die.
Right.
It has to be a perfect final product that goes in the ground, the very first one, and everyone after that.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah, that's huge. That like,
Yeah.
ups the stakes so much.
Yeah. It ups the stakes. Like everyone that works with me on this project, like they're gonna all roll their eyes at me. But every time somebody works with me, I always do this like big email message I send everybody. And I'm like, look, like what we built will save lives and will prevent cardiac arrest fatalities. Period. So every motion that you do, every step that you take, every email that you send, you should be treating it as life or death, because if it postpones us, more people will die because we failed. Like if we put in one line of code that's wrong, if I send an email that like rubs somebody weird and they don't want to have a system in place, and then someone dies in that community, that's on me, because we could have saved them, we didn't save them because blah, small
I
thing.
love
So it's
the
like
Red Bull. I'm getting chills, man.
it's so I always
Yeah,
give people
that's,
that
like,
message
huge.
on when they work with us, because it's like you have to. It's literally life or death on this. So this podcast is how many minutes? Every
Like 45
1.6 minutes someone dies. How many people have died since we've been talking from cardiac arrest?
Yeah, probably
I'm
about.
sorry, man.
It's crazy.
Just stop right now.
Yeah, we need to stop this thing. People are dying. But so,
No, but
so
it's a great way to motivate your team as well, and not that that's the sole purpose, but it's a good perspective, I think, for you guys to move forward, like a good mission.
yeah,
Yeah, so good.
it keeps us like mission centric, and it's like legitimate. Like that's like organically what the situation is.
Yeah.
But so for fundraising with us is tricky, because I can't take a group of investors and say, hey, let's go to this community where we have a system installed, we have this many users, because it's like we have to finish closing our full round, our seed round right now, before we can really take what we have. We have prototype, like our ground controller right now is a prototype. It's functional, but it's not life or death ready, right? Sure. And like this drone is awesome. And the software, the everything that runs on GCP works super well, but there's still things that we have to do from an R&D standpoint in making sure that the LTE connectivity is flawless. We have to make sure that the way the computer is mounted on this is waterproof. Like we have to make sure our ground control hubs are waterproof. Like we have to. I mean, there's like a billion moving parts of this thing. Mm-hmm. So it's, but I think. What I thoroughly believe is that the mission of this and its sexiness is what people are like investing in. Like they're like, one, this is going to save lives, it's a really great solution, and two, it's like something cool to talk about.
So it's like important to tell a story to the investor, right? At different stages, it's a different story, I would say.
And it's also like you got to know your audience, you got to know who you're talking to and what type of investor. Like, is it an angel investor? Is it who actually like really like cares about the mission and like wants to see us succeed, or is it a institutional fund that is looking to get 10x return in a year from now, and they don't really care anything about the technology? They don't care anything. Like they want to see a return.
Or is it a family?
Yeah, is it a friends or fam? So like knowing the motives behind every time somebody invests, I usually ask, why are you investing, and like what are you hoping to gain out of it? Like I want to know, and it's cool because a lot of people are because you're gonna save lives, like that's.
So do you care who the investor is, like on that other side of it, because you're asking, right? So like
it's good to have people involved in a project that are passionate about it and can bring not just financial capital to the table, but also a wealth of knowledge, experience. Like, so I built a board of advisors, and I have an electrocardiologist on there. I've got a financial guy on there. I've got like an EMS. He's the director of the College of Emergency Management at Florida State. It's surrounding yourself with people that can bring more to the table than just capital. At the end of the day, if someone like, I don't care what you do, here's $1 million check, come back to me in 2 years with a $2 million check or whatever, then it's like, you have to like weigh it out, you know. But
because you still want to complete your mission, you know what I mean? So,
yeah, because even if they don't care, I do, and everyone else does. So if we're catalyzed by whatever, we're still going to accomplish our mission.
Yeah.
But it's just good, like if one of my our financial advisor, this guy John Waterman, he's a character, he's a good guy. He's like, would you rather have $5 million from a random guy doesn't give a crap about what you're doing and doesn't care or doesn't know anything, or would I rather have $1 million from someone who knows the product, knows what we're trying to accomplish, can bring something to the table? It's like, you'd rather have $1 million from someone that can bring other things to the table than just. But so.
So
It's interesting to think about.
Yeah. So as we talk about funding, do you have any advice as far as getting funding to anyone who's watching, fellow entrepreneurs?
Maybe going through the same.
Yeah, that are trying to raise capital for their startup.
No, like you have to know. So when you are fundraising, I'm selling you equity. Literally, I'm selling you shares of my company for your money, for your liquid cash, and you have to. Like you're saying that your company has a valuation of X, which means that those shares have a value of X. You have to know in your heart and know that the value of what you're selling is as real as this phone in my hand. Like, because then you won't be wishy-washy about what you're trying to accomplish, or you have to know that it's not. You're not just like. You're not on American's Got Talent. You're not on stage dancing, and after your act's over, it's not, your pitch isn't like that. And afterwards, you're looking at the judges to see how they rate you, and you're hoping for a 10. Like, it's not that. It's like I've built this, and I'm selling you this thing for that much on these terms, and you have to and know that you have to know the way you built it, like know the value of it. Because if you don't believe in the value of it, and know that the value is real, then why would anybody give you money for it?
Right.
Like, why would anybody invest in that? So that's one thing is like, know that you're not just on stage dancing and hoping for 10s from the judges. Like, you're exchanging them a good. Like, you're selling them an actual security, like an actual asset.
That's great advice. I've never heard that perspective before. I like that a lot.
So that's a big thing. The two, obviously the MVP thing, like if you can get an MVP, like just bootstrap it, get a Raspberry Pi, build it. Yeah, boom. Oh, I get it.
Yeah, clicked.
No, it clicked before.
A couple
awesome.
other people were just like, oh, okay.
Yes, MVPs are like great, and
but you don't have to have a final product. You talked about that. You know what I mean? You can and you still don't have what you would consider a final product. But you are still raising money at different levels, and you're able to sell that value. So although you might be raising $1 million now, you're raising $30,000 before or whatever it was. That $30,000 you were able to say hey, this is not just hopes and dreams. This is a real thing. Here it is. I believe in it. Take it and run with. We're gonna make it more. We're gonna make it bigger.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's not. It's what we're doing is it's a thing. It's a real commodity. It's an actual asset. And knowing that when you go into pitch to somebody, because then it gives you a confidence in your pitch, right?
Yeah.
You're not then just sweating and dancing and hoping the judges love your dance. You're not that. You're it gives you this confidence in knowing that this is what it is. This is what we're doing, and then it's on them. Is this something you want to get involved with? Yeah. Not will you give me money?
Yeah. Giving them the impression that you're going to go on with or without them as well.
It's not even an impression. That's the thing. It's it's a fact. It
is my name.
Yeah.
Okay. And then if I told you my name was Bob, I'm lying. You know what I mean? I know I'm lying, right? But when I say my name is Spencer, it's I have total confidence in that.
Because it's that, and that's a great analogy, and it's that you have to, because otherwise.
And I don't think that comes unless there's time behind it, right? So when you you're in the idea stage, there's only a few successful companies who have been able to say, you know, hey, my idea is worth $1 billion. I have nothing except for this idea, you know, and it's going to be great, right? And I don't know how they make it happen, but they get, you know, Magic Leap or whatever. Tons of
Yeah, I don't. That one, I don't even know how
they had a
began.
magic leap.
Their CFO, like, bravo, whoever raised their, I'm just blown away.
I don't know the whole story. Maybe
I
they
mean,
have a success in the back,
And
but
finally
you know.
just launched their first product.
Yeah.
I know. I don't know if they're private fund. That story is just amazing to me. I think it's so cool.
But the traditional route is like, hey, you know, we've worked for 5 years to this point. You know what I mean? Like, we've gone through the tough times. Like, we figured out the problems that we're solving. Like, we know our customer base. Like, and so now you can say, look at all the stuff that we've done. You know what I mean? And now you're standing on that.
Yeah,
you know, alone.
exactly.
Like, and so I totally see what you mean.
Yeah, so you're standing on that, like, pointing at the top of a mountain, being like, we're going over there, but you can look at all the ground we've already covered.
Yeah, it's like a pyramid. Like, every day you're building it. Well, I guess it's like an inverse pyramid, kind of.
Yeah,
it's
it's
like
like
Because you're getting bigger as you build up. And the momentum as you build up.
Inverse
Yeah,
pyramids.
because like, even probably when you did your first round, it was way different than the one you're doing now. Like, in terms of how you felt about like everything, which is crazy to think. Like, you know, because I don't know how long ago that was, but like, it's incrementally growing every single day. Like,
And it's important to know, like, if you're fundraising as a startup, like, when I was like a sophomore at Florida State, I was like, I know how this works. I'm gonna have a great idea. It makes a lot of sense. People are gonna give me money. It's gonna be sick. We're gonna make it. It's gonna be awesome. Like,
business plan done.
yeah, it was like
No
if-
problems.
my mind was like, if your idea is brilliant, like if it's a great idea, then of course you're gonna, of course.
Yeah.
But it's not. Like, fundraising is totally a different beast than that, and it's like, it's, I don't know.
And operations and like
Like,
building it.
Our soft launch that we did, it was our ground control hub installed in the ground in the community. We did like landscaping around. It looked beautiful, like literally gorgeous, in this massive master plan community with 40 managers that represented about like 40 to 50 other communities across the state.
Yeah.
And we had there's a venture group here in Orlando that we were like talking with, and they had one of their principals, or whatever you'd call it, drive up to St. Augustine to this demo and watch this demo with us, and the whole thing was like flawless, and we got Four Rivers catered, and it was like, and I gave this presentation afterwards, had the attention of everybody, and I was like, oh, like that was just like
Catalina wine.
Catalina wine mixer. It was that, and I was like, this is gonna be it, and then nothing.
Right.
Yeah, and so
They
it's
were
like
thanks for the Four Rivers.
yeah. They're like that was cool, thanks. And like I think like part of it has to do with the investment climate in Orlando versus other cities. But you just have to be persistent, and like I know again I know the value of that, and I know what we're doing can save lives. So I'm pretty passionate about it, stuck on it. Like, I'm not going anywhere. We're not like, but just know that like it's a process, and you gotta. Gary Vee is so like cliche, but like you gotta love the process. Like, I compare it to fishing a lot. Like, if you don't like the whole process involved in fishing, you're never gonna fish, because you're catching a fish like 0.5% of the time.
Right.
And then the 99.5% of the other time is getting out to the location, getting the boat ready, or driving to a pond, like running, like setting up your reel, getting a lure set up, casting.
Was like the casting, the getting the boat ready, like all that kind of stuff, and then you're gonna do it again, and you're gonna hit, and then it's gonna be like.
Yeah, and if you don't love that process, like if you don't love tying your lure to your reel, and you don't love like trying to cast underneath that limb and not getting tangled, if you don't love that process, you're not gonna fish. You're gonna hate it. You're gonna hate the whole thing.
Right.
And then when you do hit the limb, you just gotta work through it.
Yeah, and if you don't like it, you hit the
Yeah.
limb, you're just gonna be like, F this, like, I'm done.
But it's okay to cut your line, guys.
Yeah.
Right? And start over again.
Yeah, but if you hate the process, you're just gonna throw your rod, get in your car, drive home, play Fortnite. Like, you're not gonna.
Play Fortnite.
But that's how running, that's how doing a startup is. Like, if you don't love the process, you're gonna quit.
Yeah.
And if you do get your line tangled in a tree, you're just gonna be like, F this, you're gonna walk away.
Yeah.
But if you love the process and you're really passionate about what you're doing, then you'll keep doing it, and you'll have the tenacity to keep casting until you do catch that fatty largemouth bass.
We asked this to a
Yeah.
lot of people. Go ahead.
Are there any times that you did want to quit? Like any like the first thought that comes in your mind when you want to
We're on the
quit,
same page,
and
This is
how
good.
you overcame that, and any advice of how you overcame that to anyone watching this.
Yeah, I mean, there's frustrating times where you're just like, did I just waste 5 years of my life? Like, has this all been a total waste of my time and everybody's time and like is
I could have been a pro wakeboarder.
yeah, well, if I didn't blow my ACL 3 times, but even then I wasn't even that good. Shout out Cody Prizer, he's way better. Yeah, I mean, there's times you get frustrated and you're just like, because when I graduated, I interviewed for a job and I got offered 2 jobs from the company that I was there, and like I could have taken it. It was like reasonable salary, like it would have benefits, and I would have like started my life and you know just
Been a lot easier, probably.
yeah, it's just like
Doing a startup.
less things. Like right now I have a million balls in there. Like we have a demo tomorrow. I'm like literally thinking about it in the back of my head. I have to. Me and Spencer got to work through some stuff.
People
like,
are dying.
People are
still dying, guys.
Like still, you know. It's
What number are we on?
Yeah,
Sad truth.
I'm telling you. Yeah, so I mean that would have been way easier, but it's just like it's just kind of like the passion thing. It's like,
Right.
and you always hear like songs. Everyone's like, I'd rather, like, what is Russ's lyric? I'd rather deal with oh well than what if.
Right.
So
Or like what's, you know,
The
if you
regret.
enjoy what you're doing, you'll never work a day in your life. Type
yeah,
of thing, you know?
yeah, exactly. So enjoying the process. But yeah, so and then the times where I was just like, like I'll text, I'll text my girlfriend or my family members, or you talk to people. A huge thing is the community. Like OTAP. The other day I had to like explain OTAP, and like I compared it to like a barracks, and like all of us go out and like doing a startup is almost like going out into a war zone, and you're like pitching and you're trying to do this and demos and you're on news and you're doing PR and you're doing podcast, video.
Yeah.
You're just doing a bunch of stuff.
This
and
is called the war room, by the way, right?
Yeah,
We are in the war room.
but you get slapped the F down like all the time. Like you just get beat down, and then like it's so cool to be able to go back to your barracks, hang out with your soldiers, eat a good meal, drink a beer, like get fired back up to get back out there.
Yep.
And like I think, or like literally like
They're going through it too.
Yeah, the community is huge. So like having Orlando Tech and beer, having this community, like like Alfred and Launchable, like they're a startup too. Shout out to Launchable. They're working through similar things, and it's cool because I can just be like, yo, like
Yeah, like what'd you do when you did that, or like what should I do, or like do you have any advice, or am I thinking about this the wrong way?
Yeah,
because that's how accelerators have been good for us too, and like so it's similar. You kind of get that community feel.
Yeah, so definitely invest in invest in your, if you're a startup, like invest in your community for sure, just because like you're gonna get as much out of it as you put into it. So if you, and it's a flawless machine. Community is a flawless machine because if you almost get more out of it than what you put into it.
Yeah.
And so long as you're just pumping into your community, you're gonna benefit from it.
It doesn't happen right away.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, you kind of have to give before
You gotta
get.
trust the process.
Yeah, because people want to. Trust the process. People want to see that you're actually helping them before they kind of turn around and help you. They don't want to just be like, this guy's just trying to get something from me.
You gotta
why is he
give
helping
to
me?
get.
Yeah. And then and then also like it takes time for things to trickle through people, for things to spread. And
Even
so,
a year.
Yeah, even a year.
Like someone might not mention you for a year, right? But they met you a year ago, and then they don't happen to have a conversation with someone that's in your industry for a year, right? But then they remember that 1 year ago they met you, right? But you've been consistent with them, right? You've been talking to them, like you see that at events, whatever, and then they're like, when that one person comes up that they know needs your solution, they recommend you, and that becomes your first big customer. And it just happens that way. So you guys are right. It's perseverance and
showing up, showing up, like
showing up every day.
Yeah, being there being in the community and showing up.
I think we only have like a few minutes left. I just wanted to check with Kyle. Any other comments about Diet Coke or anything, or regular Coke or Coke? Yeah.
Well, how can listeners help you?
Hey Spencer, try and plug in the cord right there.
Yeah. Sorry about that, guys. Basically, if we didn't cover that, do you want to do one more?
Yeah, you're good now.
How can listeners help us? Advocacy. We love, ask us questions, get in, come out to, I don't know, we have a demo Friday, we can't really come out to it, so, but yeah, advocacy, you help me by learning CPR and learning how to use an AED and not being afraid to help someone on cardiac arrest, that would be huge.
Yeah.
And then, just reach out if anybody has any questions. A lot of people help out with this project just because it's a cool thing. So if you want to get involved or help out anyway, let us know. If you live in an HOA, you live in a community that you think should have an Archer system that can get an AED to you in under 90 seconds, anywhere, reach out to us, let us know. We'll work with your HOA and help get you guys coverage. If you know anybody in that realm of homeowners associations, master plan communities, if you want one of these systems on your college campus, get an AED, and you want your college campus in 90 seconds, let us know.
Investors.
Yeah, invest. Yeah, too. Yeah, I guess that's we're fundraising right now. So if you're interested in investing in the company itself, or you'd just like to learn about kind of the investment process and a little bit about the company, you want to see some financial statements, whatever it may be, feel free to reach out and let us know. Website's archerfrs.com, or you can find us on Facebook,
Yep.
LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, and you for sure can find me at Orlando Tech and Beer the last Thursday of every month.
The 27th. 27th.
And we
Or
do
the
want
26th.
to promote one other event that's happening tonight. So it's going to be Nerd Night Orlando, okay? And that's one of our good friends who hosts that event. And that's going to be at the Orlando Public Library, which is part of the Orange County Library System. It's actually right over there. And,
I think it's right over here downtown, right behind me.
Yep, so downtown Orlando starts at 6 p.m., so coming up here soon. It's a really fun event. Nerd Night Orlando, we put the link in the description. So while you're there, go ahead and follow our page for updates on the next episodes, right? And then also go ahead and share the post, like the post, do everything you can to help us reach more entrepreneurs that are going through similar situations, teach them, ways to get through, the down times and how to Are there any up times?
Yeah, there's uptimes for sure.
Alright,
Tons
and-
of uptimes.
and how to
Yeah,
experience
you
the
gotta
uptimes.
know it.
So
Yeah.
we'll touch on some more uptimes next time.
Share it with drone enthusiasts, even if you're not business oriented. Share with a friend how archers using drones to save lives,
Yeah.
or medical professions to see how drones are being used to save lives too,
Yeah.
which is huge.
Yeah.
So
And sorry about the technical difficulties. I'm gonna take blame for that. I lifted up the camera. Won't do that
we got a
ever
little
again.
wild.
Yeah, but thank you guys so much.
Yeah.
See you, everybody.
Thanks, guys.